And thank you for being good neighbors.
Michelle Eichmeyer from Farmington Hills. Just say a couple of things that some people have already said, perhaps less eloquently, so forgive me. I'm glad to hear that you guys are committed to maintaining your trail, and I want you to know that we consider your 5.6 miles a huge part of the 250 miles that Nancy spoke about. The exposure and the benefit to state and local residents, in addition to out-of-state travelers, to this trail cannot be oversold. The health, safety, and financial benefits to everyone are huge. Maintenance costs. The great thing about maintenance costs is you have a little bit of time in order to build that up. When it's new, there's little maintenance, and it through the course of the trail that's already been constructed, it's about 7 years until a regular annual maintenance starts to pick up, and the cost of that is ongoing but manageable when you have that amount of time to build in the necessary endowment to secure the funds to create the nest egg for that. As John and John both mentioned, there have been a lot of large local donors for some other parts of the trail, and the Great Lake to Lake Trail has been very lucky with those people. Many of those people are willing to have a conversation, and I'm fortunate enough to work with a gentleman who has made a lot of that funding possible. He has had a conversation with new build funding and has an existing offer to pay Walled Lake's portion of the engineering cost. So please don't let that get in the way. There are a lot of expenses up front, but there's a lot of reward on the back end, all of which will be reaped by every person in this building and all of the businesses. If you've been to Disney Lake Tavern, you know that they've dedicated about 30 spots in their parking lot as a trailhead. They've also installed a telephone 4 miles away from the restaurant, which you may not know, so that on your way back to your car, you can call ahead and get your food when you get there. Walled Lake has no less than 5 restaurants on the trail, all of which could take advantage of similar circumstance. The idea of signage pointing to your light shop may have been for a joke, but that's a very realistic, scenario that a lot of communities, including Albion and Marshall and Battle Creek and across the state have used. There is an opportunity to help bring people to your community and stay and spend money here, whether they live here, whether they've moved here, planning or hoping to move, or whether they're just passing through. More than 10,000 people every year go to Iowa to ride their bike across the state. I'm sure Iowa is beautiful, but let's be real. It's not Michigan, and it's not. So we have a great opportunity for these rides that Nancy's group puts on every year. They do a lot of travel, a lot of long distance bike rides in the northern part of the state because they have better developed interconnected trail systems within cities up there. This trail, this huge trail from Port Huron to South Haven really has an opportunity to bring some great people to your neighborhood. Kensington Park is about 6 miles by bike. Sorry.
8.7.
Okay. If you guys would like to speak to people in leadership positions in communities that have had the trail for more than a minute, please let us know. John can help with that. I can help with that. All the leadership in Hamburg Township and Unadilla and places that have more or less money or more or less people would be able to provide some, real answers to questions that you have that I, as a person who would have to ride my bike up from Farmington Hills, can't answer. But I'm so grateful that you are open to the conversation.
The next one is Beth.
Ran Bay.
Right. You again kind of ran all the way.
I don't know if I have anything new to add, and I'm not as eloquent as any of those other folks either, but in addition to being a Farmington Hills resident and a frequent user of the trail, I'm one of the people you're talking about that spends money on bike trails. And I have I get a little magazine from the Rails to Trails organization, and they always highlight different trails. And I also have a computer, and I look stuff like that up. I have traveled on the Katy Trail, which is in Missouri, I think it's the longest one, the Great Allegheny Passage Trail from Pittsburgh, and then connecting in somewhere in Maryland and going to Washington DC. This May I'll be going from Buffalo, New York to Syracuse or something like that, all on rail trail. And I'm a little bit surprised by one of the things here, which is the talk about where the money's gonna come from. I'm not a financial person, but I distinctly remember staying in a place twice along the Great Allegheny Passage, staying at a bed and breakfast where the gentleman, he picked you up off the trail because he was a little far away. He had a truck, he had a previously failing business. He changed the part of his home into a hospitality area. He was people along those trails are incentivized to develop businesses that are friendly to cyclists because they know how much money people like us bring to the trails. So the conversation was the opposite. It was like, what can we do to encourage business development so that we'll get more people in here? So even they're talking about the Hamburger Trail. I rode on the Hamburger Trail. I was hungry. I ate at, is it Rosie's, some diner? It was great. I'll go back. Every place I go, I'm spending money. This year I'm going with 10 girlfriends. We're gonna be out on the road for 5 days. We're gonna need a place to sleep. We're gonna need 3 meals a day. We're gonna need some alcohol. And maybe a souvenir. So, I just wanna say more and more year to year, people are looking for safe places to ride their bicycles. They wanna ride them long distances. And this missing piece will make it a real possibility to bring people not just from Walled Lake, not just from Oakland County, but around the country. Non-government official getting applause.
Hello, my name is Tom Morris. I'm also from Farmington Hills. I came to support the trail. I've heard many of the speakers who are very dedicated to the trail have a lot of technical knowledge about it, a lot to offer. What I have to offer is I'm just another rider on the trail. I've ridden all the way from Richmond in the east to Stockbridge in the west, and I've ridden the part from Kalamazoo to South Haven. I very much enjoy the trail, and I'm looking forward to making the connection. I've even ridden this part here, but it was pretty rough. I'm looking forward to that connection being made. I think it will be an asset to the community. And I'd like to thank the City Council for holding this meeting and for the other speakers at making their presentations. Thank you.
Matt Fitzwater?
I own Vince Air Cycles in Milford. Obviously, I'm a proponent of this trail. I know for a fact that people from Milford will come into Walled Lake by bicycle. It's not that far for a cyclist. The trail, it provides, will provide recreation to not only your community, but to people around the area as well. It will bring people into Walled Lake. The trails in Milford, the trail systems in Milford bring a huge number of people into Milford, not just the locals. Cyclists, I know for a fact, because I own a bicycle shop, cyclists really like to spend money. They will spend money. That's a fact. With the Great Lake to Lake Trail, we're going to see people from all over not only Michigan itself, but all over the local area, Ohio, Indiana. It's going to bring people into the community, and Walled Lake will be a part of that. Lastly, I'd just like to urge you guys to continue with the project. I think it's a fantastic thing, and it will benefit eventually. Thanks.
Wendy Mullins?
Hi, I'm Wendy Malnasky.
Kathy, I live in Commerce, and I just want to reiterate what everybody said, everybody does it so well. But as far as the usage of the trail, I just want you to know, my son in the front row rode 45 miles last year in 3 hours. Kids will use it. So.
Hi, my name's Rachel Skousen, and I'm a recent resident, again, for the second time of the village of Wolverine Lake. I just moved back to the village, thank heaven, I'm very happy to be back there, from West Bloomfield. And my family, I'm the mother of 3 boys that attend Walled Lake schools. And I have one in elementary, one in middle school, and one in high school, so we spread the gamut. My children and I, when we lived in West Bloomfield, we used the West Bloomfield Trail a lot. We would take it to go get yogurt. It was our time together. It was family time. And it was a great way for us to bond. And it would be really, really nice to have the same option, to have that family time. I saw so many families out there when we were out there. There were moments where I went out there just by myself. I went for a run or go for a bike ride. Sometimes mom needs time too. But it was a great place to center us. I'm a big fan of Dr. Dean Ornish's work, and he had one of the things, I printed out one of his articles where he talks about the cost of loneliness. There's a real epidemic in our country that just isn't heart disease or diabetes. It's loneliness and depression and isolation. The trail offers a place for us to connect as communities. It's a powerful place. I met complete strangers that became my friend out on that trail. Can we have that here, please? Thank you.
Okay. That was the last part I have.
Excuse me. I yielded earlier, I'd still like to speak. I yielded earlier, I'd still like to speak.
Not only have I no voice, my hearing's going.
Want you to get on the mic then? My name is Fred Dorr. I believe I have a slip there. I live in Commerce Township. I'm a bicycle advocate, and I have a lot of bicycling experience with organizations. I'm a member of the Michigan Trails and Greenways organization. I was a board member of the League of Michigan Bicyclists for about 10 years. I was also in charge of developing bicycle tours for the League of Michigan Bicyclists. And I'll get back to bicycling and the where and the destination a little bit. But first, I just want to go back and talk a little bit about the cost content. What I've not heard here tonight among all the folks who have spoken very eloquently is the fact that the property that we're speaking of was acquired by the Trail Council for $2.6 million. And of that $2.6 million, not $1 of that came from any of the communities, Commerce, Walled Lake, or Wixom. The entirety of that $2.6 million came from 2 grants, one with the Michigan Department of Natural Resources Trust Fund and the MDOT TAP program, which is a federal highway program. So that $2.6 million came from, in the case of the trust fund, the residents of Michigan, all the residents of Michigan. In the case of the TAP monies, all the residents of the United States of America. So it is not a local investment. It is a state investment and a national investment. And this is the way these kinds of projects get purchased for development, and this is the way that they get developed. So there's $2.6 million that we've got it thrown in our hands. Didn't cost us a thing. Now, we are charged with the responsibility of doing something with it that causes us to have buy-in and also make it high quality for everyone to use. The folks in Walled Lake, Commerce, and Wixom, all of Oakland County, all of Michigan. Now that process is why we're here today, because now in order to get further grant funding to construct the trail to where it will be a high-quality trail that will have location, will have a riding surface that's suitable, that will have other amenities that will cause people to want to come here. We've got to put up a little bit of money ourselves. Now, as I understand the process of funding from local entities so far, and I'll stand corrected on this if I'm wrong, that in the 2016 budget of the Trailway Council, $30,000 came from Walled Lake, and that for the 2017 budget, Walled Lake has appropriated $38,000. That's a total of $68,000 that you've appropriated thus far. Now, as I see it, and others have talked about the opportunity to fill in any additional monies that Walled Lake would have to provide to pay for the engineering study, engineering cost study. You may not have to appropriate any money at all. And it's already been discussed right here that the 2017 money that you appropriated, that's done. You're in. You're all into that. So what is being asked of you, additional to that, it may very well be a very, very small amount of money. The figures that I have seen for the 2017 budget says that each of the communities will make a contribution. I believe the number was like $62,000. Well, you've already put in $30,000, if I'm correct in those numbers. And the balance of which we've heard Mr. Scott here talk about the fact that Commerce may step up to the plate and other opportunities that there may be to fill in monies to where you'll not have to appropriate any more money from Walled Lake. So the next step beyond that engineering study is then additional grants to actually pay for construction of it. And there again, the Michigan Department of Natural Resources Trust Fund and MDOT's TAP program can be the funding to cover the cost of the construction. And that may be $2 million, $3 million, we don't know until the engineering estimate is done, cost estimate is done to what that is going to be. But the point of it is that it is a grant opportunity. And what we have to put up in between is that engineering money, and I've delineated that a bit for you. Maybe my figures are a little bit off. I'm sure you'll figure out how to correct them, but that's it. So think about this. We have had $2.6 million dropped in our hands. And we have the opportunity to get another $2 or $3 million dropped in our hands. And we are debating about that money that we have to bridge over to get to that point. Come on, folks. The one criticism that Michigan always gets is the failure to have a regional vision of things, a regional vision of planning, whether it be a mass transit system, whatever it may be. And here we are, a region of 3 communities that are kissing cousins. You know, we live and work in each other's communities. And we can't figure out how we can maintain a regional view of 3 communities that encompass, what, 10 square miles? Come on. Can't we all just get along? What did I do? All right, let me let your mind set on those cost figures. Let me just talk about one other thing. As part of my role when I was organizing bike tours was to look for places to have bike tours that had one, acceptable amount of traffic on the roadways, because many times the roadways have to serve as the median for bicycle travel. And by the way, I'm a big fan of cycling on the roadways, and I understand the issues with traffic and safety and all that. Tours that I organized were in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and I sought out destination sites that people wanted to go to, or would go to, I hope they would go to. And I located routes that we could travel from location to location that people would feel comfortable riding, and also that they'd be able to have amenities that they need in the course of a day's ride and that sort of thing. So that's what people look for. I've heard others talk about how if they consider a vacation, a bicycle vacation, they're going to look what is there. When I take my bicycle there, what can I access on my bicycle? Absolutely critical. no question about it, if the 5.6 miles of the trail is built here, that will be literally the final gap in the trails going across Oakland County. That is absolutely monumental. You will have a continuous trailway from the city of Pontiac all the way to the west boundary of Oakland County in the city of South Lyon. That is absolutely tremendous to be able to do that. And there's lots of spaces, goes beyond that. You know, I myself ride bikes and I go on the West Bloomfield Trail. I go all the way through Pontiac, Auburn Hills, and I stop at the Dairy Queen and I eat hot dogs or whatever it is that I want. You know, and businesses along there, they benefit from me. So bicycle riders will come when they know there's a destination and a place that they can ride and is welcoming. I myself, I'm from Missouri originally. In Missouri, there was a trailway built along the Missouri River from generally the St. Louis area to nearly to Kansas City. It's a railroad corridor called the Katy Trail. It was originally the Katy Railroad. It is 240 miles of contiguous trailway. And along that trailway, the towns that are there, they were originally river towns because they're right along the river. So what did they have? They had grain elevators, they had machinery, implement machinery stores, they had hardware stores. Many of those businesses are gone. And what you see now are bed and breakfasts, and you see restaurants, and everything down there is flourishing because people are coming to that. Where else in the United States can you go and have 240 miles of contiguous trailway in order to ride on your bicycle? Those places are few in between. The lake trail concept that we've heard talked about here tonight, this is a part of it. That will be such a destination design. What an opportunity. Don't pass it up. One comment. It's been articulated quite clearly here tonight that you do not have to withdraw from this council. You can stay on the council and figure out how monetary efficiency that you have when you work for them. Should you choose to withdraw from that council, that trailway council, with only 2 members remaining, will be severely encumbered when they start trying to write grant applications for construction of their pieces of the trail. And the DNR Trust Fund board that awards these grants asks them when they make their application, well, what about that section of trail in Wall Lake? Let's see here. It's 1.25 miles long. What's going to be done with that? Well, sir, I guess it will just stay the way it is because they chose to withdraw from the Trailway Council in 2017. I hope you feel the burden and the pressure of abandoning commerce and Wixom in this endeavor. And I pray to God that you will find it within your souls to stay aboard and work cooperatively for the benefit of this region. Thank you.
I didn't know you were a minister. I was going to give you a praise, Jesus.
Anybody else, a couple others passed? Okay. All righty, we'll close the public hearing.
Mayor, I'd like to speak to my council about what I think. Everything you said, legally,
Can you speak up?
the most two important people. It's about the money and the vision of what money will be spent. This council has never articulated to me as city manager that they weren't going to do the trail. That's a false positive. We will do the trail regardless of what they finally decide. We will have the trail. We will maintain the trail. We will have to do reason to renegotiate and talk, because they want to. And I think the council will give me, the mayor and his manager, the supervisor Scott an opportunity to get back with you before you bring this off the table. From what I hear, not the everybody I know wants a trail. It hasn't always been good on the trail council, some of you folks, and I don't mean the new trail council, I don't mean Supervisor Scott, and I don't mean John, our manager, I hardly know him, but I've been a representative on the trail, and I've been told, you know, we're gonna do what we want as a trail manager, the city council don't have a say. You all know tonight that they do have a say. I also been on the trail council when we voted to do one thing, and the trail council, contrary to what you said, Supervisor Scott, did something different than what the board voted for. That left a bad taste in a whole lot of people's mouth over here. We voted to award a bid to an engineering company, and it got given to somebody else without another vote. That happened. Walt Lake was in a position to have to stand up to be the bad guy. They didn't do that, they let it take its course. Now they're at the stage where we really ought to negotiate, and I'm gonna hold Supervisor Scott to the table. He said he wants to negotiate. Mayor, I think if I can convince my council to give me time, we can come up with a deal to make a lot more people happy. Also, as a city manager, I get basically threatened on a regular basis to raise my taxes. They do that, and if you think that because this room is full of people who want the trail council, that there are an equal number of people who will, just tonight, raise my taxes, they're gone. And they're my friends, then they'll take you out. And they, frankly, they do that pretty regularly. You know how that is. You did a hell of a job. I'll vote for you next time. I'm looking at I'm looking at Wixom, so I may vote for the mayor on Tuesday. So if I can get the council, you know, to just, without going deep into it and give us a little time, and I think the mayor, you and I, or anybody else who decide, be with the mayor and his manager, and Supervisor Scott, and everybody that he wants to bring in, except for the supervisor. We probably can negotiate something that's a little better. So I don't know if they agree or not, if the council agrees, but I think they did a hell of a job tonight of putting the position on the table. I think I'm the first one said out loud that it hasn't been a good feeling with the council. I'm not sure you knew that back then. Supervisor Scott, I don't think you knew that. And John, where you are, you probably didn't know me. My council has been happy with it. That's what this is about.
Let's make them happy.
Huh?
Let's make them
Well,
happy.
we can do that. I think that we're negotiating.
Yeah.
I too think there's been a lot of good points, a lot of room for open discussion. And I'm in favor of the city manager and I, the mayor, supervisor, sitting down and seeing if we can reach a happy point.
Well, good neighbors, we're here for a reason.
No, rest of my council?
You don't need a vote, you just need to decide if anybody, you don't need a vote to say do it, you can do it by consensus, or you can vote to say get together and negotiate and come back.
I would like to see a vote on the record.
Vote,
I would make a motion to that effect, that the managers and mayors all get together and see if we can work this out.
Do I have any second? Any further discussion by anyone? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we leave tonight with a job to do and discuss. And with that, I have a motion to adjourn.
Supervisor Scott's buying these.
Thank you.
Next time. Well, at least we got him to, sits tight for a while, so we'll see how it goes.
I learned a lot. I mean, I told River about this, and I like to